Hello, you all. Welcome back. My name is Jay. I'm so glad you're here with me. Come with me on a couple of my days off. We're going to do some cleaning, some organizing, and I will show you my failed attempt at my first home project of the year. All right, first things first, we're kicking things off in my wax room. I call it my wax room because this is where I make my wax melts and soon, hopefully, some candles, but mostly wax melts. And I also store my exercise equipment in here, but I have this big pile of things that I've decluttered, I would say from the past 6 months up till now. And I'm moving all of my declutter stuff into my spare bedroom so that every other room in the house is junk free and only includes things that I want to be in the home. And then I'll work on clearing out that spare bedroom. This big box right here has all of my tart wax in it. So it's a different type of wax from making candles that you use to make tarts or wax melts. So I just ordered a bunch of it at one time because the company I get my wax from has a ridiculous shipping price. So I just bit the bullet when I had a little extra money and ordered a big box of it. And now I'm just gonna vacuum the area, and I'm also gonna go into the closet and organize these boxes. I did do some online selling, I would say for the past maybe 3 years or so. I've been on Mercari and Poshmark. I'm more active on Poshmark, but people are stupid and I'm just a little bit burnt out with the online selling. I mostly sell my candles because that's what I enjoy the most. Not candles I've made, but candles I've purchased. When I don't want them anymore, I'll sell them. And I don't know, the buyers have just been, it's just another stressful situation. So I've really backed off on the online selling and it's more passive now. I've posted the stuff on there, and if it doesn't sell, then this summer I'll maybe have a yard sale or something. I keep saying that, but I'm so afraid of Facebook Marketplace. I don't know why. And now I think I'm feeling skittish about a yard sale too, but the online decluttering is not quite working out, shipping things to people all around the country. So I'm going to have to transition to the marketplace to get rid of some of this unwanted stuff. I do also donate, but with the prices recently with the Salvation Army and Goodwill, I just don't feel as good about donating as I used to in the past. But I'm going to get all this cleared out, and then I'm going to work on my actual pouring station because that area is a mess. All right, so moving over to my main pouring table, I just have my Presto pot, and you can buy these on, I purchased this one on Etsy, and that's probably where I'd recommend getting it, because Amazon, the sellers jack up the prices, I'm assuming because of the fees. But I've had more luck on Etsy. But it's just a really small personal wax warmer, and it's good for somebody who's pouring for fun, or you just have a small business. Here's some of the clamshells I made. This is a pistachio and pink sugar blend. I've purchased many blends like this from many different vendors, and I just like it, so I poured some for myself. And yeah, if you're a professional candle maker, they have really big pouring pots, like pouring pitchers, similar to at a hotel buffet breakfast. They have the tall silver carafes. I've seen those really tall pots of wax. So, but I don't need anything like that. I just need my small little pot and my scales, and I'm using some just alcohol to wipe up any oil or residue on the table, and then I have a plastic scraper that I use to scrape the wax off the table. And anybody can make candles and wax melts, honestly. It's the cost of supplies, I would say, the time it takes to get your own recipes and your own amounts of oil and the testing. That's what is a little bit frustrating. It's time consuming, like starting anything else, but the actual process of making it is pretty easy. You can buy candle making kits nowadays. To me, candles are harder because you got to test your wick in a different vessel, and like what kind of wicks do you want to use? How many wicks in your vessel? Do they work? Just, I feel like more goes into making candles, which is why I prefer wax melts. And it's cheaper usually to buy a large candle from a large company because it costs so much to make them per candle. You're going to pay a lot more if you try to support a smaller business. So I usually support through buying wax melts, and I like making them too. Later this year, in a couple months, I do want to start selling, but it'll be very small, and it won't be anything that I talk about on YouTube probably. But yeah, just something personal that I want to try for a little bit and see how it goes. I'm not looking to make a career out of it or anything like that. I just really find personal satisfaction in making wax melts because I like home fragrance so much. And yes, I do have 2 picnic tables in here. I am buying new tables as soon as I feel like putting the money towards them, because these picnic tables work just fine. One of them doesn't close all the way, or it doesn't open all the way, the one on the far left, which is why I got the one you're looking at right now. But I am going to get 2 new tables for this room in time. One of the big projects for today was unboxing and putting together my new bike. I got a new spin bike. If you've been around a little bit, you'll know that I used to have a Peloton, and that worked great. That is a great piece of equipment. And of course now it goes on sale. When I bought it, the price had just been lowered, which I'm sure was a huge insult to people that bought it before me, but now it's even lower, so that's nice. But I sold my Peloton, for not a lot of money. They don't resell very high, so you can probably find one for around, I'd say $8 to $1,000, depending on your area, especially if you live in the DMV like I do. But I couldn't get over the membership, so I purchased the equipment. I had the bike, and I'm supposed to pay $44 a month for the subscription. But somebody who bought a bike like this, or an even cheaper $200 bike on Amazon, pays $13 a month for the subscription to be able to use it on their iPad. I just thought that was backwards. If I'm already paying you for the equipment, why am I paying over 2 times the cost to have the equipment, to have the services show up on my bike, you know? So it just really irked me about Peloton. And then I wasn't using it for a couple months because I was just, I don't know, I was rebelling against fitness, I guess, but I wasn't using it. So I wasted a lot of membership months. And I was like, you know, I would just rather get something that's still really good quality, but cheaper, because I did miss having a spin bike. I love to spin. Let me not say that. I was going to say I like to run, but I don't like to run, but it's easy and it's free. All you have to do is get dressed, put on some sneakers, and go outside. I feel the same way about having this bike. You don't need to have any additional equipment, and you don't have to have any skills. You just get on it and ride. And I really missed having one. I purchased this one from Walmart, which was a headache and a half. It's the Echelon Connect Sport, and I'm pretty sure they have a different version of this on Amazon. I couldn't find this exact one, but I could find one like in the same family as far as the grade of bike, because Echelon makes some really, really expensive bikes, and this is not their cheapest one, but almost. But still, again, really good quality. And I'm familiar with the brand, and you can find kind of no-name brand ones for cheaper, but I've had bikes like that before, and they're wobbly. The resistance is usually not magnetic. This has magnetic resistance, and it was on rollback at Walmart for $3.97. If you can find it in store, I would recommend going to a Walmart and just have them price check it on the floor, because mine was, the price tag at the first Walmart was like $6 something. And then at the second Walmart, it didn't have a tag. And of course, she's like, well, we don't store match rollbacks, even though it's shipped and sold by Walmart. So that was just a big old headache. But I had the lady on the floor price check it, and it checked out. So I bought it. The box was not too heavy. I was able to get it from the shopping cart to my trunk in the parking lot. And then I used like a furniture dolly to bring it from my car in the driveway inside the house. When you are single, you gotta make do, and I move a lot of heavy things. So I have a furniture dolly, which I purchased from Home Depot a few years ago. It's a good thing to have, honestly. But I'm just going to go ahead and get this bike put together. And it is really sturdy. I've ridden it, which the ride was very humbling. I have not spun in a while. And I just put on a 20-minute, like, low impact ride, no hills or jumps or anything. And after 10 minutes, I was like, you know, I'll work up to it. So it was very, very humbling. The instructor was like, we're going to start on really light resistance. I need you guys at a 10. I was at a 5 and I was huffing it. And I'm like, wow. I will work up to it though. And I've spun on for years and years, and I really, really like it. For Echelon, the program, I will say I don't think the quality of instruction is as good as Peloton, honestly. Even though you get a free trial, and if you buy your bike at Costco, you get an even longer free trial, which is great. So maybe look up some hacks on how to get that. I think Reddit will tell you how when you buy your bike to register and all that stuff. But the quality of instruction, the instructors are good. The instructors are fine. It's very similar to Peloton. What I didn't like was the scenic rides. So not all the classes, just the scenic rides where you kind of ride and it looks like you're out in a forest or in France or whatever on a countryside. The quality of the video was garbage, and I know it wasn't my iPad. So that was the disappointing part with me, but when I had my Peloton, the scenic routes were not great either. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and finish putting this bike together, and then I'm going to get it all set up. But as far as a quality bike for under $500, I do think it's very, very sturdy. It has magnetic resistance, and it comes with the pedals with the cage on them. So you just put your sneakers into the cage and you tighten it down. But I would recommend getting some clip-on shoes And you can, I'm sure, get those at any like bike shop or online somewhere. I have mines from when I had the Peloton, but you just feel more secure on the bike when you clip in. If I didn't have clip-in shoes, I don't know that I would go out and buy them, but having used them, it's definitely, I think, worth the investment. So I like the Echelon Sport Connect, and if you want an even nicer Echelon, you can buy one for, I think they go up to like 1,800, 2 grand. So they got some super fancy ones, but this one is perfect for me. When placing the bike in the room, I wanted to make sure that I had enough space behind me that I wasn't hitting my foot every time I went to get on the bike like I did just then. So I did end up repositioning it a little bit. I moved it forward just so that I wasn't knocking my knees and stuff all around all the time. And I do need to buy another mat to sit under the bike. So this is one of the rooms where the flooring needs to, it looks horrendous. Like, I'm sure you could see in person in this video, it looks so bad. But as I really settle in and start putting permanent items in the room, it really makes me not want to rip up the flooring again, but I know that I have to. But here's the bike all set up, and like I said, I am very, very happy with it. Coming into the kitchen, we are going to start on my backsplash, which went wrong. It's not up. I started to put it up and it just did not work out, but I did learn how to use my wet tile saw, which is a good skill to have. So I'm starting by just cleaning off all the countertops, and I'm going to remove the face plates for the outlets. I was also going to switch out the outlets when the backsplash was done, but because it didn't get done, I didn't get a chance to do that. And you're maybe wondering, like, how does an outlet get dirty enough to be that it needs to be swapped out? Exactly. I wonder that too. Like, how do you cook spaghetti and you see the stuff splatter on the outlet and you don't clean it to the point where the outlet has like year-old food on it that I can't scrape off with a knife? I don't know, but that's the situation I'm working with, specifically with the outlet right to my left where I have that little bug light plugged in. It is just rank, but outlets are really cheap. I mean, they were like under $1 each. So that is something that I plan to do when I finish the backsplash. And this is from Safer Home. Look, it's like a bug catcher. Really nice. And I purchased mine on Amazon, but I have seen it, I believe, at Home Depot. So Safer Home, if I remember, I may link it below. That's new for me. We'll see if I figure out how to do that. But I do really like it. It's pretty nondescript and it takes care of those gnats. All right, so I'm done. I was feeling pretty confident. I had everything all cleared off, and I started by laying out my tile along the countertop just to see how much I would need. And then I unboxed my new tile wet saw. I'd had it for over a year, but I was just very intimidated by it, and I was trying to find the on and off switch. And so here I'm practicing with my first sheet. It's not going so good. The tiles kept lifting up. I was scared to get my hands close to the blade, although I did eventually get closer to it. The guard was situated too far down. I couldn't see. And you can tell by my stance, I wasn't with it. I was not having a good time. I was not successful. And honestly, after that, I quit. I went inside. I said, it's not going to work. I can't do it. I went inside. I had an energy drink. And then I was like, okay, we have to do it. So I went out and I learned how to work the saw. It took about 2 to 2.5 hours, and it was freezing cold outside. This was the day before it snowed here. So I get the first row of tiles all cut, and this whole side all cut. I start by putting in my edger. It makes the edge of the tile look really nice and finished, and I'm using muscle bound adhesive. So it's a tile mat, pretty much really thick double-sided tape is what I would liken it to, but I know some people, they use it, they don't use it. I know it's a product out there and it has a lot of YouTube videos and it's supposed to make the process really easy. So here I'm just placing my first sheet. It took a couple attempts, but I got the first sheet on and they were okay. I put it on and then I stepped back and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I don't think I like this. But you never know until the project is finished, right? And I still had to grout, so I kept with it. I got number 1 on, and then you want to press it in for at least 5 seconds. So I pressed that in for 5 seconds on the whole sheet, and then I had a few little pieces of tile that had gotten chipped that I needed to place in that I'd already cut. I got the second sheet in. We were still doing good, but this is where things went bad and couldn't be saved. So my countertop is not straight, which I did anticipate. I thought about it, but I measured my tile and I cut it because all the videos I saw said to do most of your cuts first. Well, the counter was way too crooked. Had I placed this sheet on and made it line up with the sheets next to it with the proper amount of spacing, the bottom would have been way too far from the countertop. Like, it was not lining up and I couldn't get it straight. So the tile needed to be cut a little bit higher. You guys, oh my gosh. Because even had I made that piece, like forced it in, then the top piece would have been too short. It just looked bad. The cuts were wrong, and you can see here the bottom of the tile way too high off of the countertop. I can hide the top with the cabinets. The grout line on the bottom would have looked horrible, just ridiculous. So I ended up pulling it all down. I pulled down the tile and the muscle bound, which it only damaged my backsplash a little bit. I just had a little bit of touch-ups to do, but I failed. I failed at my first attempt, and this is how the kitchen looked after. After I took a day to lick my wounds, I had to clean up the kitchen and get it semi-set up. So for future reference, I would not recommend such a patterned tile for a first timer who does not do anything like this and who doesn't have anyone to help them. I'm going to use regular subway tiles and there will be a lot more cuts and it'll go a lot slower, but I will be able to be more precise and I'll be more successful, because you watch all these YouTube videos and they're like, tile so easy, anybody can tile. And I think I can do it, but not at that level, not that pattern, not those sheets, not with my lack of experience and my lack of help. I was kind of set myself up for a disaster, and I don't think it was disastrous. It just didn't work. I had used about 2 boxes of tiles, what I cut. So I still have 2 boxes plus a few sheets left. So it was about $60. I still have my muscle bound adhesive roll. I will probably use tile adhesive because I have some of that too. But yeah, it didn't work, and sometimes it doesn't. It was, again, humbling, just like me getting on my bike. I feel like a weekend of not so successful endeavors, but it's like that sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and buy some subway tiles and just put those on the wall as the backsplash. And maybe when I get good at that, if I feel really confident, I'll use that herringbone tile, maybe in the upstairs bathroom or something in a small section. I don't know, but that was the plan this week, was to have a really nice backsplash put up video, and then I was gonna deep clean my cabinets, and it just didn't work out. But again, that is okay. To clean out my sink, I'm just using regular Dawn Power Wash, which I love the Dawn and the Gain spray. That's like the same thing but Gain. But I wanted to let you guys know, in last week's video, I talked about my favorite cream cleanser, which is the Mrs. Meyer's Baking Soda Cream Cleanser. It's back. I was able to find it on Amazon at the normal price, because a lot of times with Mrs. Meyer's products, they'll be on Amazon for like 4 times the price, and I'm just not paying for that. I honestly would rather just buy something else, but I was able to buy 3 bottles of my favorite baking soda cream cleanser, and I will link it below again if I remember. And if you go there and it's not regular price, wait, because sometimes it'll come on with as third-party seller and it'll be like $15 a bottle, but wait until it's the regular price. I think it's $5.79, and I'm just so excited to get my favorite cleanser back. This is kind of like a half clean of the kitchen because I was cooking at the same time. And I've talked about how I can, in fact, cook in a dirty kitchen, but it was too bad. The stove was so gross, I didn't want to put any pots on it. Like, it was too bad. So I had some meatballs in the oven and I was trying to clean while they cooked really quick. Side note, I did overcook the meatballs and my pasta wasn't, I don't know. Things were not, it was like bad news comes in threes. My bad dinner was the third bad thing that happened. And I mean, I'm like joking. It wasn't bad, but dinner was not good. So I did eat it because I cooked it, but I did not have any leftovers. And then after I was done vacuuming the floor, I went ahead and finished dinner and treated myself to a nice little sweet treat that I found at Target before I went and continued binge watching The X-Files, because I am all in and re-obsessed with that show.